sloss.tech is the signature event about creating community. It is the capstone culminating event, and it's not just a platform for our local startups, but hopefully also a catalytic magnet to bring people from out of the state, out of the city. They get down here and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea about this place.
Here in Birmingham, Alabama, sloss.tech 2025, where we are at the #1 tech conference in Alabama. Now, normally on my channel, we're looking at specifically physical hardware, but here we're looking at a lot of founders around the biotech space, medical tech space, and even like recycling space. One of the people I've talked to so far, they recycle shrimp shells and turn them into a polymer material, making it possible to recycle natural resources into usable products. So it's really cool to see how much development and opportunity is sprouting out of Alabama, my home state. And so we're gonna be interviewing people, talking through a lot of different stories from founders. We'll also be talking to the incubators that help people go from idea to exit, making it possible to take a great idea into a sustainable product. So jump in here at sloss.tech 2025. What are you seeing in the works that makes Alabama like the premium spot for tech?
One of the pillars is around the mobility sector, right? So anything dealing with the movement of people and goods. So now we're talking auto manufacturing, we are talking autonomous driving vehicles, we're talking battery manufacturing. Well, it turns out Alabama has the largest, outside of Alaska, graphite deposit in the entire world. Graphite is one of the core components in battery manufacturing. I had no idea, right? And so now we can start looking at the entire life cycle of an industry. So
mining,
exactly,
like using, recycling.
That part, exactly, right? And so we're going to need software that governs this stuff, right? If you think about the position that Mobile has, right? So now they're probably thinking about maritime logistics, port logistics, right? Huntsville, obviously on the aerospace with the defense side, right? You even have it on the civilian side, again, going back to Mobile, right? And the cool thing is, it's not just concentrated into our urban clusters, but now we can have conversations about alternative fuels using materials in the Wiregrass region, right? Obviously, Tuscaloosa is doing a lot with water technology, right? And so like every part of the state has a role to play, and we can do so in a way that is complementary and not competitive with one another. We're already at the top when it comes to automotive manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, etc., right? We're starting to rise in logistics. You have old school anchor companies like McLeod Software, but you also have new startups like Fleetio, right, that is now valued at, I believe, $1.5 billion. They're making acquisitions internationally, right? And they started on the same hallway that Shagan Odolana was on. Harmony Venture Labs, his exit was $1.2 billion. All of this world impact coming from these small pockets of Alabama.
I'm here with Keith. We're talking about his hot takes, what he's excited about being at sloss.tech, and some words for founders who are wanting to get plugged in, wanting to grow their business.
One of the things that I really thought is that I had to be an island to myself, that the innovation was only in me. But what I found in getting communities, and what I try to get all founders to see, is that community makes the technology. Because you can't be an island and we're building product for people to use. How else do we know what to build unless we get in community and be amongst the people? Like sometimes we think we're smarter than we are too. And when we think we're that smart, we think that everything's in our head. Well, the really great things that I built has been in other people's head that I fixed their problems.
What are the key unique features that make Alabama great for technology?
We've been doing a lot of med tech stuff, and a lot of med tech, biotech, and in that space, in the life science space, one of the things that we're very well situated at is that we have academic structures, one of the leading academic facilities in the country. And so you have to have academic along with innovators. And so the research happens at the academic level, the creation happens at the founder level. And so we're so well positioned of that in the state of Alabama right now.
So I'm here with Stevens. He is the founder of Feed Coyote, a freelance platform based around community.
I'm a freelancer at heart. I'm originally from the Caribbean, and freelancing is basically a way of life there. And when I moved to the States, I've experienced the problems that independent workers face when I went to college, and having to do freelancing, whether it's through tutoring or translation translations and all that. So I've realized that freelancers, they didn't really have a problem fighting gigs, but they had a problem fighting each other, fighting community, and also fighting that support system that they need to go out there and be the best freelancer that it can be. So that's why I built this product as a community-driven type of approach to help freelancers get together and take on bigger projects and make money as a community.
So did you bring on a partner to do the dev?
Yes, we are a team of almost 10 people now internally, but I look at it as a team of 120,000 people now because all these people on our platform are talents. And we also sometimes tap into their talents to help us build the product, whether from a marketing perspective, design, or development as well.
So you use the platform to build the platform.
Exactly. That's what we do. And that's what's driving our growth right now. We are currently onboarding 10,000 new users on average every month on the platform.
Is there a certain place you see founders not spending or spending too much money, and that can often cause a lag in growth?
Yeah, so there's a natural sequencing, right? If you're trying to force a product into the market before it's ready, you're trying to, cut corners. And that's generally not going to work. And so my advice to founders is to have not only an MVP, but to have customers that are using it and focus on getting those first 2 or 3 customers. Then you have a referenceable customer base.
Yeah.
And then you have learnings from that customer base. Then you can fine-tune the product and then, find out if my target customer is really my target customer. If it's not, you're wasting time and money, right? And so efficiency, both in terms of how you're using your time and how you're using your capital, is 2 of the most important things that you will do as a founder. Because if you waste capital early on and don't show milestone progression, you're not going to get more capital. I think it's better for founders go as far as they can bootstrapping and with friends and family money, particularly in this current investment market, to get as far through their commercial, to a stage of commercial progression where it can be evidenced by the market that they're going to be able to do a predictable, repeatable, and scalable growth curve.
So when you say evidence to the market, you mean like enough signups for, say, the software, enough customers for the business, so you have that proof of concept, so when you go to a board of investors, you're like, hey, here's where I've been, not here's just a good idea.
Exactly. So there are 2 markets, right? The target market for the company, and then the investment market that will be able to say, you're doing a good job of penetrating your target market, and customers are buying the product, and we see that happening and beginning to happen at scale.
Tell me about yourself, and you're a first-time sloss.tech person.
I am.
A slosser? That's so sketchy. I am as well.
Okay.
So tell me about your experience and what you're taking away so far.
Yeah, so I'm Kayla Wright-Jackson. I'm a CEO and co-founder at Transition, and we're part of the Generator cohort. And so what was super cool about sloss.tech, first of all, they did a little showcase for the cohort members that were participating in the accelerator, and I just love how such a knit community Birmingham is. Everybody came out, a lot of the mentors that were supporting us, other organizations, so that was cool. We just watched a cinema that was created.
Featured you.
It featured me and my fellow cohort members, as well as the Prosper Tech cohort members. So it was really cool, to see a different side of tech and not just panels and, pitch competitions, but to see a movie about, what our experience has been like here in Birmingham.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And what would you say was something that you've taken away so far for the 90 days you've been here that has really helped you change your mindset around what you're doing and where you're going?
I felt like coming here to Birmingham really helped us to get focused on which customer segment we really wanted to target, really just refine a messaging around our business. We came in, we're a workforce development platform. So, there's multiple stakeholders that we could support. And originally we were telling that big story, but it was kind of just really complex. So, we decided to hone in our messaging and focus on the training schools and the students. And that really just helped us refine our messaging. I think Birmingham being one of those slower paced cities kind of help us slow down and really zoom out and figure out, okay, what would be best for our business.
So I'm here with Todd Greer from Innovation Portal in Mobile, Alabama, and we were talking about founders, what they're really good at, and some challenges that he sees since what he does is help them go from idea to exit. So let's talk about where they're great and what they could work on.
So Ben, one of the things I think that's the coolest aspect of it is we have so many founders who are solving real problems.
Yeah.
So they're taking on the challenge of what's around them, they're seeing it, and they're stepping into it. But that comes with a cost. So for many of them, they forget that ultimately it's not just an investor that they're pitching to, it's a customer, it's an audience, it's an ecosystem. And so they've got to work to be able to tell the story. So we talk about like, what's the pain point that gets somebody hooked in that first 15 seconds that they can identify and start shaking their head with. Any story, you're thinking about what are the compelling portions of it and what are the chapters that I need for each audience. And so you think of it almost a little bit like choose your own adventure. That you've got to adapt to the audience that's taking it in. So you're going to have a lot of stories that you need to be able to tell over the course of time to potential co-founders, to customers, to staff that you want to hire in, to the investor, to the general ecosystem, and even to amazing storytellers like yourself to help bring that in and connect it to a real world environment.
What brought you to Alabama? And what if others are thinking like, wait, Alabama? What would be your message to them to come here?
Yeah, I mean, so our experience has been great, right? We moved from Northern California a couple years ago, sort of post-COVID, and it just seemed like a very nice place to build a business, right? And when everything went remote, I realized that we could now sort of go where we wanted, where it was like a good mix for everyone in the family, not just me. And it's been really great. You know, we're down in coastal Alabama. It's beautiful. It's, there's great people. So it's been a very easy move.
I'm here with Dr. Piali from Ashmi Health, and we're here at sloss.tech, and I wanted to get her hot take on what she was excited about coming to sloss.tech, as well as some advice for founders coming up.
So I would talk about Birmingham in general. I think this has got such a cool ecosystem. The Southern hospitality you can really, really see here in terms of people being so nice to you, opening up their communities, opening up conversations about the challenges the communities are facing, the challenges we face as founders, and them offering all the help they can possibly have, and like building those connections has been like amazing for us.
And where are you from?
I live in Boston.
Boston.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Boston is a big health tech hub, but even then, Birmingham has so many things that I didn't know before, and I just learned so much about healthcare just by being here.
One of the most amazing stories is Feed Coyote. So Feed Coyote is a freelance platform that provides ways for freelancers to engage with one another, to take on bigger projects, as we've heard. And that is the power of like a great product. And I think so many people have ideas that could be sustainable, that could be an opportunity, but they take so much marketing and advertising and effort to grow that the sustainability is so challenging. And so Feed Coyote has its own internal growth engine. I mean, it's basically asking people to make money building it, to make money feeding the product. And so I think that's the thing for any founder who's trying to figure out where to get the growth from, figure out how your product can feed itself. What about Alabama sets us uniquely apart from Austin, Texas, the New York, the San Francisco? What do we have that's so unique and valuable?
I think what's special about Alabama is we are such a community-minded, relationship-driven community. We really rally behind the founders that come and want to grow in Alabama. You will find no less than 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 people who are rooting for your success and want to connect you to the people who can get you there.
What is something that a lot of founders are great at, but then they're missing some certain key areas that if they could get over that, they'd be a lot smoother journey and get their goals?
I think where a lot of companies really fail early on is to have a really solid customer advisory board and to have feedback very early on from who is going to be the actual buyer, and to really develop things that are in line with that buyer's the real business need, the real business problem that buyer is trying to solve, and not necessarily what the buyer is asking for.
All right, so I'm here with Leighton. He's attending sloss.tech. We're here 2025, and I'm curious, as a business owner who has operated in different businesses, but now is looking for that next step. What are you hoping to discover here at sloss.tech?
Well, honestly, I've heard that just the ecosystem here in Alabama is growing at a rate that is exceptional. I mean, I'm from Fairhope, Alabama, so I've been around that growth for a long time, and now getting involved with Hatch, just being able to see what that looks like and who's growing and how that works. It was curious to me to come up here and kind of see what's happening on the northern half of the state and really get a perspective change on what's possible.
Right off the bat from the conference, I'm just seeing that I've been wrong about isolation being a key to ideation. In that, if you sit with an idea long enough, you allow your brain to work on it long enough, you'll come up with a good solution. And there is merit in that. But teamwork, collaboration, something I would say I haven't always valued as much as I should have, has been a weakness. And so if you're somebody who's been doing that, has been so head down, has been so focused of drawing your idea out of the recesses of your mind, then like me, you've probably been wasting potential for collaboration. So you get the idea out quicker and even better than it could have been. Humbling, for sure.